Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to do some basic 3-point lighting. And with that being said, let's begin. This is a 69 charger that I created not too long ago, and it turned out pretty sweet. A few of you guys that have followed me along this process wanted to know like what the render settings are, so I'll go ahead and give it to you in a nutshell. All right, let me go ahead and save this render. This render here took me 35 minutes. I'm pretty sure I can cut it down a little bit. These are my render settings for Arnold. So my camera AA is set to value of 7. Diffuse is value 2. Specular is value of 2. Transmission is value of 2. Subsurface scattering 0. Volume indirect is 0. Adaptive sampling. Let me go ahead and bring this guy up and over here. Okay. The camera AA is set to a value of 20. Alright, those are kind of default. What else did I do? I increased my ray depth from a value of 12, value of 10 to 12, and increased the diffuse to 2 and 2. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In the next section, I'm actually going to test out the difference between the CPU rendering and the GPU rendering. Okay, so those are my render settings. I created a camera. I'm going to create camera, and then I went to panels, perspective, and I looked through that camera like so. Okay. Now if I click on this object and press F, my camera will automatically frame around that. Okay. And then you can click on these little icons here for the resolution gate and the frame gate. So I went ahead and positioned my camera like so. What else? There are 3 area lights. So let me go ahead and close that. There are 3 area lights. I like the area lights because they're a little bit softer. And let's see here. I have a simple backdrop that I use in EP curve. So how do I create that? Very simple. In my side view, I go to create curve tool, EP curve tool, and I'll click right here, hold shift, and then slowly start to curve this up. Now this is linear, so I'll go to the create curve tool, EP curve tool option box, 3 cubic, close that, I'll hold shift, and then whoa, press delete. Let's go ahead and curve this bad boy up like this. So light bounces off this a lot nicer. It's kind of like going to Sears or any of the places in the mall for holiday pictures. They always have this backdrop. So that's exactly what we're doing in it. That backdrop helps to again allow the light to bounce off of it. Okay, so I have this curve. I go to object mode, go into my perspective, move this guy to my far left, duplicate it, move it to the far right, and then I'll hold shift to select both curves, surfaces, loft option box, and you can make it a NURBS or a poly if you want. I usually just make it a NURBS. Apply, because most times I'm not really putting any sort of texture on it, and it's easier for me to texture a polygon than a NURBS, so I just kind of keep it a NURBS, and then assign a new material, which would probably be an AI standard surface. Okay, AI standard surface, rename it to BG background. I'll change the base color to a darker gray, and the specular roughness I'll increase it so that it's not so shiny. And that's pretty much it. This light at the top, if I go to Arnold, this is my settings right here. Exposure is a value of 9, and then I have my samples up to 3. Sometimes people do a value of 4. This is, I guess you would call it my fill light, and this is my key. So this is at a value of 7 exposure, 3 samples. This guy right here is a value of 7 as well. It's just a little bit further away. If it was closer, then it would definitely be a little bit brighter. I did some things different with my glass texture. So if I go into my render, you can see I got this black line right across it. The way I accomplished that was pretty straightforward. I went to UV editor, and I know my UVs look a little bit, I don't know, not too nice, but I went to create automatic map, and you can see it takes both of these shells, the top shell and the bottom shell, and I just took this guy, I pressed E, I rotated it until it was 90 degrees, and I did the same thing with this guy right here, so they overlapped each other. Okay, and then what I did was take that geometry, I went into the shape node, right? So it says charger window shape, windshield shape. If you go to Arnold, you want to make sure you turn off opaque. Okay, now for the magic, I guess. So the transmission is the glass, right? So under the color, I created a ramp, right? And I made the interpolation none, so it wasn't smooth. So anywhere it's black, you're going to see the color. If it's white, then you're not going to be able to see. Well, actually, you'll be able to see through the glass. So I just positioned it so that the black line was right at the top of the glass, and that's how I was able to do it. What else? 2 other things I did. This material, this geometry, is an AI standard. I increased the transmission to a value of 1. The color, changed it to red, and I just kind of messed around with the depth. It didn't really do anything too special. So if I press Control 1 on this guy, that's all it is. Double-sided geometry. And then on the inside, you see I have this polygon cylinder that I placed between the glass and the geometry. And this little guy, if I go to a shape node and then go to Arnold, it was a poly mesh. I changed it to mesh light. I didn't make the light visible, which most people will do, and I just actually decreased the intensity because it was too bright. And that's all I did. I put that shape behind this fog lamp right there. You see? So I made that little light bulb emit light. So I have that on both sides, and then I also have it right here. So if I press 4, you can see that same little piece of geometry. Okay, and then I didn't do anything too crazy with the back of the car. All right, just basic. Okay, so I've got those lights, excuse me, and then my key light, my fill light, and then my area light. In times past, I would put like another light behind it so that it helped to give it a really nice rim light. but this light is giving me a really nice clean edge. And so you position your camera and you give yourself a nice render. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, right. But this was the screenshot. If you, let me go ahead and zoom in. Oops. Let's go ahead and do that. So you can see that kind of glow, and that's because of the mesh light behind that shape. So that's pretty much how I did my 3-point lighting. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, you can always ask them on the thread. And pretty soon I'm actually going to do a comparison between the Arnold 5.3, the new update, which is the GPU rendering, which should be really cool. And yeah, so the goal is to see which one is better and which one helps me to optimize my render times. So until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Please like, subscribe, and share this channel with you guys if you're learning anything. And I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you soon.